Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Necro Nicki. Welcome back to the channel, Necro Nicki.
Greetings, friends.
And today we're going to talk about water magic, but first and foremost, how can people find you, Necro Nicki?
On my YouTube channel, Necro Nicki, it's an ASMR channel with some weird magic stuff going on there as well.
Excellent. So today, and then that link will of course be in the comment section below in the summary, not comment section, in the summary below the video. At any rate, let's talk about water magic. So earlier we were talking about how we use various crystals and water in order to basically charge the water or cleanse the crystals. So and we were also talking about rainwater. So do you kind of want to start off as far as like how do you use your crystals in relation to water in general?
Yeah, like one idea too that I like to do if I want to cleanse the auric energy of my apartment or me is if it's raining outside, I just kind of even though the rain is outside, obviously, I just kind of envision what the rain is doing outside because it's cleansing the roof and the street, having all the water and cleansing the leaves of the plants and everything. So I kind of take that vibe and energy with me and just concentrate on it, and I feel like that's really spiritual cleansing. And then sometimes I'll save bowls of the water and then cleanse and charge my crystals in them. And I've noticed, because I love crystal magic. I have a lot of crystals at my place because I notice it really just changes the vibe of everything. And so out of all the different ways that I've used for cleansing crystals, that's actually one of my favorites. Sometimes you can even do something just think about, I have a crystal right here. One of my favorite crystals, pyrite. And you could just say I cleanse and charge this crystal, and you can do that and it'll work. It's just I really recommend, one thing to mention is not all make sure you research your crystals, because not all crystals can be in water because they'll disintegrate. But this one, for example, is okay in water, but if I use it with rainwater and put it in a bowl for a few hours and then charge it with and cleanse it with the water, I just notice it's just so powerful, and then it brings just a high positive vibrational energy in my auric field, in my place, because it's just kind of that energy's bouncing off everywhere. And I'm new to snow. It's actually, there's snow outside right now, and that's a different type of water magic I'm going to try. Today I went to the cemetery and I was walking around in the snow, and I just thought, oh wow, okay, next time I'm gonna actually gather, because I've been wanting to do a snow ritual, and I love working, I know you do too, working with death essence objects. So next time I go, I think tomorrow actually, I'm gonna gather a jar of the snow and try a ritual with it. But those are just some ways that I like to do it as far as rain. But yeah, there's a lot of different types of water magic that I like to work with, and storm. I just feel storm energy in general, because it's okay, you know how people giving offerings and sacrifices for rituals? I feel another thing that's kind of underrated, a lot of people don't use, is storm energy. If there's thunder and lightning outside, if there's a tornado, I know a lot of people use planetary stuff, but I feel spirits really like that energy because it's powerful, and it's from nature. So I feel just anything that has to do with storm energy, it is really great to use for magic, and just extra powerful. Have you used different types of storm energy, or just kind of rain and water magic?
So I will say first off that water is very accepting of cleansing things. If you put something in water and it's purified, or it has it, especially if it has some kind of spiritual essence where it came directly from nature, like rainwater, it can take away and cleanse everything that you put into it. So a lot of the time I'll direct crystals towards the bowl of water if I'm cleansing something, and put candles on the outside, on every end of the crystals. But usually I use a lot of selenite. It's just as good as quartz rods, and it's cheaper. But selenite, I use a lot of selenite. So
But
in
that's
regard,
one to definitely not use with water.
I found that it works fairly well with
Because
water.
it disintegrates.
Not necessarily putting it in water, but direct your energy towards water.
Mm.
So like I don't put selenite in the water. If I'm trying to charge a bowl of water, so this is a little bit different than cleansing. But if I was going to, let's say if I was going to cleanse and charge, I would direct selenite around the bowl and then put candles on the outside. But I wouldn't. I've never put selenite in water because it is very chalky and it can disintegrate. But selenite's very good for transferring energy. When it comes to storm magic, I do like to sit outside under something that's covering me from the rain, or sometimes in the rain, and while I'm gathering water, or while I'm if even if I have something in that water where it's being cleansed, or I'm trying to charge something, I will use my drum in the rain, or even being covered up from the rain. And while the storm is going on, while the trees are just like swaying so hard because the winds are so ridiculous, like big trees just like going like this, I'll be out there with my drum, and I'll take in the essence of the storm into myself, or I can direct my focus into what I'm trying to charge or cleanse. And while I'm using my drum, or just while I'm using my focus, I will take the energy within myself. I will kind of like breathe it in, and then I'll direct everything everything that filters into me into what I'm trying to charge. Or sometimes I'll just direct the storm energy into myself, depending on what I'm trying to do.
Are there certain storm deities that you like to work with in particular?
So there's one that I always associate with storms that nobody else does, and it's Freyr. So usually you want to work with Thor when it has to do with thunder, lightning, and storms and stuff. But Freyr has been my nature god for and Jorah. She's a giant, but Freyr, who is basically uh elven god, basically Vandir. He always seems to tie me with nature. He's the god of peace, harvest, and prosperity, fertility, all those things. And it feels like I connect more with nature when I include him into anything, and when I offer to him, or when I'm making him in charge of like the energy around me. I do associate Freyr with storms quite a bit, but it's because I associate storms with that vital part of nature that we need in order to have everything else in nature.
Yeah, I guess two deities that I work with storms are more on the typical side that people use with storm magic would be Set and Ball. But typically when I do work with do any type of storm magic, I just use my own energy and just kind of like my own magic, not so much with deities always.
We can vibrate pretty good when we're affected by storms too, and if we just accept the energy within ourselves, we vibrate at a different frequency too. So it's good to actually use yourself as that conduit.
Yeah, what about like indoor water magic, like with like bath rituals or shower? Have you ever noticed any weird paranormal like activity where things like showed up while you had running water, like a shower or a bath?
It's very so when I based on what I'm thinking about and how intense the thought is, every now and then I'll see shadows outside the shower that are like moving around. Obviously there's nothing else around, but I'll see it. But like it's fairly common, so I don't register it, or it doesn't freak me out like it used to. But when you're having water hit yourself, or when you're submerged in water, anything that you're thinking, or any intention that you have, or any kind of energy work or your magic you're trying to do, will most likely be amplified to the area around you, because water is a great transferal, substance element. It'll just basically enhance your vibration, because the energy within you is going into the water, then it kind of like goes out into the environment. So yes, I do see shadows on a regular basis moving around, and I every now and then I'll hear random words said. But as far as paranormal experiences go, that's not the place where I've had most of mine, but I've had a lot of ones like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had a lot. I know once I've had an astral being like show up, then I could see their head smiling, like floating around while I was taking a shower. I'm like, okay, this is pretty creepy. But I just know there's something to that, like the energy of flowing water, even if it's something that's not so natural. And what I find interesting is I like going on hikes a lot, and I'm a pretty avid hiker. And especially when I would hike in California, I would notice a lot of people would be obsessed with like going to find the waterfall. And I would always think like, okay, what's the big deal? It's like water like going down. But now that I think about it, since we're talking about water magic, I feel like there's just a certain kind of energy that they're gravitating towards. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like, water's engaging with the air, and it's also engaging with the earth, and it's plunging into the earth. You have a number of elements in relation to each other. So at those vortexes, at those meeting points between these elements, you're going to have spirits that are drawn to that area. So you're going to have spirits that you can either cooperate with, or you might just feel the effect of in areas like waterfalls. It's quartz is really good to use with water in general as well. Rose quartz or regular quartz, or a wide variety of quartz you can use in conjunction with both Magick and water. But yeah, in nature, quartz kind of operates with everything. And at waterfalls, you might just want to hold like a quartz wand between your hands and focus your energy within yourself and stand either near, or, if you stand, you got to be careful if you stand in a waterfall, but you can stand near a waterfall and kind of feel like you're breathing in reverse and like drawing the energy around you within yourself. And that quartz is going to help transfer that energy, just like the water is, just like its engagement with the other elements are. But if you know how to draw energy by using your astral sense of feeling the environment and pulling that towards you, then waterfalls are a great way to gather energy, in my opinion.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago with one of my friends, we actually like walked by the river, and it
Mm-hmm.
was weird because I walked by the river like quite a few times, and even like by myself or with friends. But this one time, I just like looked at the water and I just like vibed with it in a different way because with the river, the water's constantly like moving a certain way, and it was weird because we were walking by the river and I was just looking at the water and I felt at peace. And then I just had the idea of, wow, we're like really going with the flow. And I had that feeling where like in the moment, I was literally just like going with the flow because I'm a workaholic and I hadn't even had taken a day off in a few years. And like during that time, I took like 3 days off and I felt at peace. And like because I took some time off to just get out of like the mundane stuff that I'm always thinking about, that, oh my gosh, I got to do my to do list and this and this and this. I was able to appreciate the water in a different way. And I was just like, I never looked at it that way. And I just felt like, oh wow, like I just felt like I could connect with the environment and just seeing the water flow as I'm walking and almost at the same pace. It was pretty crazy. And I used to live by the beach, so I used to do different types of ocean magic, and I really like doing cleansing, which is really good because it's like the salt in the air and the water. But out here where I live now, there's a lot of ponds and wetlands and whatnot. So it's a different type of water energy. But what's interesting is since I moved out here, I've been working with mermaid magic and different water elementals like water fairies or just water nature spirits. But I find that interesting because I've had significant experiences with mermaids, and they don't have to just be in the ocean. There's like different types of mermaids, but I love working with water spirits too.
Yeah, I will say that water spirits have been talked about as far back as the Iliad, where it talks about water nymphs, and actually Achilles' mother was a water nymph. But yeah, there's various water has a certain it both spirits are both associated with it, but also certain spirits inhabit it and are drawn to it. Water is usually seen as it usually attracts very fertile spirits and usually emits a fertile energy. And it's very accepting, like a mother, because it'll take away, if you place something in it, it'll take away all the negativity if it's the right kind of water, or if you know what you're doing. But yeah, it's no matter if it's a pond, river, lake, ocean, there's going to be different kind of water spirits. A lot of them are surprisingly, the vast majority are feminine, which does make sense because we are born in the water of the womb. But yeah, it doesn't matter how small the body of water is. You just have to know kind of what spirit to look for. Does that make sense? Or to
Yeah.
like reach out to?
Or just what you vibe with, because I feel
Yeah.
like there's like, I know there's certain water spirits that are obviously going to be in certain areas. Maybe they like hanging out in that area. But at the same time, I feel as though water is just, it's really connected with the subconscious in general. So it's almost like, I know you're mentioning different elements, and I feel like certain elements can bring certain types of deities, you know, say fire is good, you know, obviously for like more fire spirits and fire elementals. But like with water, I just feel as though it's like really connected to the subconscious and the dream world, and also emotions. Like I notice when I'm really hydrated, like I like to drink a lot of water, and when I'm really hydrated and I'm drinking a good amount of water, I do notice my psychic skills are more up to par, and remembering dreams and all that. Like I can do all that when I'm, you know, maybe not as hydrated as I should be, but I always notice a significant difference. Do you ever notice that as far, because I know like a big percentage of our body's based out of water. Like, do you notice that when you're extra hydrated?
Yeah, so I drink probably a gallon of water a day at least.
Me too.
A lot of water. And actually, if you drink a gallon, that's a lot for your body.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water. But I will say, but yeah, it's we're over 70% water. I think we're like 70%, 73% water. But water is associated with emotions because our emotions are very flowing, and we can direct those. We can direct that flow. We don't have to be directed by. We don't have to allow others to direct that flow. So if we are able to um, understand how our emotions relate to water and how to direct that within ourselves, and we have ability to control our being in a way that most people don't. And the subconscious, definitely, it's almost like the conscious, the regular consciousness, your average just awareness, is just above the ocean, but then your subconscious is that deeper element, that deeper part of that deeper level of psychic water in a way, and delving into your subconscious and relating and just getting that deep within yourself is very difficult. But that's where you do shadow work. That's where you truly see, like, if you know which past lives you had. That's where you really see yourself and your past and your future and your present. And if you can submerge yourself, if you can calm the waters of your mind, because our mind is naturally very choppy, very hard to deal with. That's just being human, especially on this Rajasic or restless world. But if you can calm those waters within yourself, then you can feel your soul and your being in a way that you can't if you don't know how to calm those waters. But the consciousness and the mind and thinking itself is very much water oriented, even if it's a little bit more abstract than it actually being water. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you ever do ritual baths? I know you said you haven't really done a lot, but like what are some types of things that you like to do? Types of ritual baths or
Yeah. The ones that I've done, I'll put candles around the bath. I'll put crystals, and I'll put certain oils. Now you got to be careful with putting oils in a bath because
yeah.
some can
I
be
don't even do that anymore unless it's like I get it at a certain health food store and that's what it's like it says. It's like bath, you know, like some bath mixture, but if it I rarely even like to use those because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because honestly, like, male or female genitalia, if it interacts with oils that you put in the water, it can be very searing. So you got to be very careful with
Yeah,
really.
that's why I let the professionals figure out what's good for the bath. You know, like I use bath salts that like is a perfect, you know, like I'll get Epsom salt that has a hint of lavender for like a healing ritual, you know, but I'm like, they already know and have tested this is
Yeah,
good. Like,
yeah.
cause yeah, I already know.
And that's why a couple good things just briefly here before we end. A couple good things you can do in a bath is you can just have a couple candles, maybe a couple crystals. Only one candle is necessary for what I'm talking about. Then you can like sit in a bath and you can have a mirror, or even better, a black mirror, maybe an obsidian mirror or some kind of other black mirror across from you. And then you can focus into it, and either you can just focus into the mirror or the black mirror. Black mirror is the best. You can try to see your true self, or if you're trying to do some kind of work, you can say some kind of conjuring, some kind of mantra, or use some kind of prayer, and then and even call upon a spirit. And ideally, and I've only seen this happen with myself a couple times, and it wasn't in a bath, but it's still possible. Even better in a bath is that you'll see your reflection morph into a little bit something else, and then you can commune with whatever you're trying to commune with or
That's
whatever you're trying.
interesting. Yeah, it's especially interesting because I actually have a black mirror in my bathroom that I made
Good.
myself. I dedicated it to Set, and we were talking about Set earlier. It's a
Yeah.
little higher up in this area, so I haven't used it per se, but that's a good idea to,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe move it a little bit closer where I can like see it while I'm in the bath. But I find that interesting how I put it in that room.
Yeah.
I
And
like doing a lot of,
incense is also very good to have while you're doing it as well. Any
yeah,
kind of
I like doing a lot of like healing baths and cleansing and high vibrational stuff, but I feel as though like you can literally do any ritual with bath water, and I use crystals too. Like you can do like you can even do a curse of bath water if you want. I feel like that'd be one of the last things someone probably want to do, like be
yeah.
like bathing in that. But I guess say it was a justice ritual, or you're like, okay, say someone's causing a bunch of chaos in your life, you're like, just cleanse me from that chaos, push it back towards them, and cause whatever justice that needs to be served. You know, like I mean, I don't see all curses as bad because I mean, technically a curse is like pushing bad energy, but if someone already pushed that towards it, you gotta push it away. Otherwise, it's like still in your area, your space, or your aura, and it's still affecting you. In order to heal, you need to think about it, experience it, and like just push it back because then that person probably needs to learn a lesson with that chaotic energy that they push your way. And yeah, I have like one candle in my bathroom I like to light with my rituals, and then I'll pick a certain crystal that I know that's okay to put in the water in there, and I'll charge it before I get in with whatever intention, and then I'll usually like watch the water like go down the drain. And I mean, I've even done. I feel like bath rituals are a little more popular. I hear people talk about those more than shower rituals, but I feel like you can do the same thing with shower stuff. Like say you need more love or self-love, or you just want love in your aura, like even while you're like washing your arm or something, you could say like you can envision like washing, like putting love on your body, you know, with maybe even a certain type of soap that you have that has a particular scent. Like you can almost make anything into a ritual, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And water is a wonderful thing to use. And yeah, you can use shower or bath if you're gonna have that kind of ritual for sure. But yeah, do you just want to talk about your channel, your ASMR channel, real quick before we end, and like what kind of content you have?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and check out my channel, and I'd be really grateful if you subscribe to it. During the last month, I've done some cool like goth holiday type themes because that's just like the time of year that it is, and I usually talk about different like occult topics, and it's really chill and relaxing. And I have some more content I need to make. Actually, I'm probably going to film some more tonight, so I look forward to chatting with y'all. And also you can leave a comment. I'm going to read the comments that you guys leave for our girls for this video as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Necro Nicki, for coming to this channel.
Thank you.
And all of you, check out the summary section below this video to see that link to her channel. And I hope all of you have a wonderful day.